So this might rub some people the wrong way, and it to the neutral eye or to the naked eye that doesn't bother to listen to the rest of the video, but knows the history of my fandom of this man, this might seem hypocritical. However, this needs to be addressed, and this is kind of a broad. This is a bigger issue than just this one particular person. It's just that this one person happens to be in this situation where this can be brought to the light. The main point at hand is that not everybody can be a main eventer, and not everybody has to be a main eventer. And smarks will jump at you, and they'll think that you're calling a guy a fucking radical terrorist if you say, well, I don't really think he's a main eventer. When in reality, that couldn't be further from the truth. Just because somebody's not a main eventer does not mean that they don't have a place on the card. You look back in the day, you had guys like the Hurricane, guys like Funaki, Spike Dudley, I'll say Rey Mysterio, because I don't think Rey Mysterio ever should have been a main eventer, but he had a perfectly good spot on the card. There's guys like Shelton Benjamin, just guys like that, guys that have that clear ceiling. And I'm tired of this cliche of the proverbial glass ceiling, you gotta break through it. Not every guy has it. It's the same way as let me speak to all the men here, all the women here. All of you, all of us work a job. We all understand what our job entails. What they don't understand, and what I'm sure a lot of people have noticed in their jobs, is that there's certain managers, there's certain supervisors that don't belong in that role. That doesn't mean that they can't do their job correctly. But as we all know, a supervisor entails a lot more responsibility and a lot more to the job other than just doing the actual job. You're a supervisor at somewhere like Kmart, or like RIP Kmart, a Walmart. Let's just say there, because I think it's genuinely easy for everyone to grasp that concept, is that there's the cashiers. You do your cashier, you scan your shit, you make people pay, you give them their receipt, all's good and dandy. Supervisor has to be able to not only do that, because you have to train the new people, but you also have to know the ins and outs of counts, of money, of shortages, of staffing, of scheduling, of all that shit. That doesn't mean that Tina, who's a cashier, is a bad cashier because she can't do the supervisor stuff. And that all comes back to the WWE. The champion is similar to the supervisor in the sense of this is the person that's overseeing it. Yeah, it's not the same because they're not in charge of everything, but they're looked at as the locker room leaders. Roman Reigns is looked at as a locker room leader. I'm sure Brock Lesnar back in his day was the locker room leader. Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, those guys were looked at as the locker room leader. Those are the guys you go to for advice because those are the guys that are doing their job the best. Those are the guys that are doing it. Those are the guys that are moving merch. Those are the guys that are putting on the good matches, the high profile matches, that are storytelling in the ring. And that takes me to Big E. And as much as I like Big E, and I'm not saying that Big E could never be a main eventer, but the fact of the matter is, in this day and age, right now, in this moment, September the 1st, 2021, with Money in the Bank in his hand, his gimmick is pretty much that he's that guy from the New Day. He's not a main eventer. And, look, yeah, they can always turn him, they could do something with him where he could become a main eventer. But if I'm being balls to the wall honest here with my opinion, I don't think he is at that level. I just don't see it. I want to see it in him. I absolutely do. But I don't feel like I've ever seen anything on WWE TV where he showed me, oh shit, just put the fucking WWE Championship on this guy. I want to see this guy fight. Like, look, you think about somebody like Roman Reigns. You think about, oh, well, fuck, I want to see him fight The Rock. I wanted to see him fight The Undertaker. I wanted to see him fight Goldberg. We wanted to see him fight John Cena. What dream matches does Big E realistically have? When we're being honest, that doesn't seem forced. They all just seem forced, honestly. Like, if I think about Big E versus Brock Lesnar, I'm like, Big E doesn't really belong there. I think about Big E versus Roman Reigns. Big E doesn't really belong there. Big E versus John Cena. Big E doesn't really belong there. And it's again, it has nothing to do with him not having any talent at all and not belonging on a fucking wrestling show. Because people will quickly twist your words around and just make, oh, well, what the fuck do you mean he doesn't belong on a show? No, he has his spot on the show. He's a perfectly fine mid-card tag team comedy act. And that's what he is. And that's okay. We need stuff like that. Not everybody can be the funny guy. Not everybody can be that guy. That's why I feel like with Nakamura, when I say shit like, well, he should be a comedy character, people take that as a fucking insult. It's not an insult. I think he belongs on a show. If you find someone that thinks the way I think about the wrestling show, they're going to think Nakamura should be thrown off a building. I think he's fine where he is. Just push him down and make him more funny. Let him tap more into that. When he was doing the no speak English shit, that was hilarious. But that's the bottom line, is that guys, there's certain guys that just should not be main eventers. And there's so many instances of WWE trying to make guys that should not have been main eventers into main eventers, i.e. Chris Benoit. Yeah, I said Chris Benoit. Uncensored, bitch. Chris Benoit is a perfect example. Guys never should have been a main eventer. I understood the story behind it was really good. You know, he's 20 years in the business. He finally got his moment. But that was it. And there was a reason for that. He was where he belonged. And that was it. Eddie Guerrero breaking through the glass ceiling. He belonged in the main event. He was a long-standing guy that should have been pushed. But the bottom line is Big E is just that guy. The funny guy, the mid-card guy, the tag team guy. But if I see him just stand straight up to Brock Lesnar, I can't take it seriously. It's something where you can't suspend your disbelief because you've seen this guy shake his ass and throw pancakes out of his tits. Like, it just doesn't work that way. That's not what wrestling is. You can't just, the memory of that's gone now. Even a gimmick change, even a good gimmick change, there's still going to be lingering, oh shit, this is the guy that shakes his ass and throws pancakes out of his tits. And now he's standing up to Brock Lesnar. Holy shit. It doesn't work that way. That's why it worked with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was never the shucky and jivey guy. Yeah, he had the corny fucking suffer and succotash stuff, but that didn't last as long as the New Day stuff with Big E. It's not an encrypted moment in your mind unless you're trying to convince yourself that Roman Reigns is the guy. There's more instances of Roman Reigns being a badass than being a goof. And there's more instances of Big E being a goof than being a badass. That's what it boils down to. And that's why not everybody can be a main eventer. But that doesn't mean that they don't belong on a wrestling show. And then there's guys like Aleister Black who just don't belong on a wrestling show at all and just look like a walking STD. Anyway. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Good and bye.